haven't had an engine in so long, so it's hard to tell what it's supposed to be doing.
Actually on the move after over a month.
Some serious speed issues. Less than 3 knots.
Adding some speed to our boat. Not really looking forward to jumping in.
So happy that it was just getting ready to pull up the stern anchor. Filling up this bucket with some water because there's so much nasty stuff on the stern anchor. And we're finally gonna get out of here. This has been our home for like a month, so it'll be nice to go somewhere else. So much growth. That's crazy. Look at the difference. Some of it's hard growth. So all these little critters all over it, and look at these, like it's like hard growth. Nastiness.
So you got some gloves?
Well, we're on our way. We're moving really slowly because we're against the current and our hull is filthy. At least I think that's the only reason why. We haven't had an engine in so long, so it's hard to tell what it's supposed to be doing. But we're making our way to the bridge and we're not going to make it because the bridge is coming up right now and we can't go any faster.
Shoot!
So we're waiting a half hour.
This is crazy! It's so exciting. We're actually on the move after over a month. It's just, I still can't really believe it how we now have the freedom to move on the ICW and get to a safe anchorage and a safe marina. That's like, wow, it's exciting.
Yeah, this bridge is a heck of a lot less stressful with a running diesel engine instead of just using our outboard like last time. It's gonna be a breeze, and the engine's sounding like it's running really well. One thing, when it's in gear, it sounds like there's a weird like rattle. So I think there's something with like maybe the alignment, maybe it's a little off or something, it's tapping on something. But other than that, the engine sounds really good. Since we're only getting like 2.5 knots at around 2,000 RPM, and I don't want to push the newly rebuilt engine, Alex is gonna put out the head sail.
Yeah.
And we gained an extra knot. Get a free shower. This is pretty nice actually, really refreshing. It's been so humid and just gross. Now I can wipe myself down with some nice fresh water.
Woo! Come on, wind. This is my wash station. That's what happens when you're at anchor for a month at the exact same place. I also think that's why we're going so slow today, because I think we've got a full-on forest down below. There's just so much growth, it's incredible.
We didn't make it all the way to Flagler Beach.
Like close to Daytona.
We've been running the engine for, I don't know, like maybe
4.5 hours.
Yeah, let's call it 4.5 hours, around 2,000 RPM. So I probably should have changed it a little sooner, but we were hoping to get closer to there. But anyway, we're gonna change the oil because we haven't changed it since we initially put the oil in, and that was supposed to flush everything and whatnot. So we're gonna remove the filter and pump out as much oil. Thank you so much. And pump out as much oil as we can so that we can change the oil and have a fresh filter and fresh oil. Throwing the new oil filter on, you should always lubricate the little seal here with some fresh oil. And then I'm just gonna slap it on and hand tight it. Now we're putting 2 liters of oil in. Probably a little less because I always have trouble getting the very, very bottom of the oil pan. We're hoping to make it all the way to Flagler Beach. We're going like less than 3 knots, and it's actually quite frustrating because, I mean, we just rebuilt the engine and we're still having trouble keeping good speed. But Alex seems to think it's all the growth on our hull that's causing us some serious speed issues. But another problem is also that the RPM doesn't go any higher than 2,500, and it used to go, before we had issues, it used to go over 3,000, and it's rated for like 32,000 or 3,200. 2,500 is kind of where it used to be when we were having the issues, so it's a little bit frustrating that we didn't solve that issue. And when we anchored, I went to put it in reverse, and the lever wasn't working. I was wondering what was going on. So I think we just hand tightened the transmission cable and didn't fully tighten it with the nut and bolt. And so it seems like the transmission was in forward gear ever since we last anchored, because I noticed it wasn't moving, like the lever was like really loose feeling. And so when I just checked it, it looks like the whole arm is missing. So not just the bolt and stuff, but the actual arm that went down and connected to the bolt. So I don't know if it either snapped or if it unscrewed from itself, but we're gonna have to try to find it in that section of the bilge and try to get it hooked back up, because we need a transmission. We need forward and reverse, but right now we only have forward.
And welcome to Lake Halifax.
This is nasty. I don't like this job. It stinks so much. We put some bleach in here, try to kill all the stuff, but man, it's gross. I can only imagine what's on our boat. Look at this. I'm getting some of it clean, but look how thick some of this growth is. It makes it like hard as a rock. There's so many barnacles and stuff on here.
Imagine people that leave their boats for like years.
Such a big job to clean this line, and it's probably not going to be that great after we're done, but it'll still have a bit of use left in it. So I'm just letting the water, the current off the back, clean the line a little bit, get rid of some of this stuff, and then I'm going to put it back on the seat over there and scrub it some more. I got my patented rope cleaning device. What are you doing down there?
Having some fun, adding some speed to our boat. You know, there's 2 ways. There's fixing the engine way, and then there's cleaning the hull way. Let's see. Oh, it's so thick. It's like red stuff. Like it's layers of this.
Nasty.
Well, I'm not really looking forward to jumping in there. I've been seeing so much stuff just floating by, like garbage and bunch of crap. So it's gonna be a bit of a dirty job, but I've got my earplugs, a little hat, and hopefully it'll be good. Gosh, this was crazy. Like, I did the whole back, the rudder, and then I started swimming forward, and when I got my hands on the propeller, like, it was just, I cut myself a bunch, came back for gloves, but it was just like hard shells everywhere. It was so thick I couldn't even feel the propeller. It just became a reef. So hopefully that makes a big difference in moving forward.
Good job, sweetie.
Disgusting. There's so many shrimps, like they're everywhere.
You don't have too many on you though.
Yeah, that's because I've been swimming.
There's a bunch on your shorts there. So yesterday we had trouble going even 3 knots, and our max RPM, just as a test, was 2,500 RPM. Now today, after cleaning the prop and the rudder and as much hull as we could reach with a pole and a scraper, we're going almost 5 knots at around the same RPM, a little under 5 knots at 2,000 RPM. And we have at least, I haven't given it full throttle, but now I have it well above 25, closer to 3,000, and I think it's supposed to be rated for 3,200 or something. 34. So anyway, as long as I can get up to 3,000 RPM, I'm more than happy. I'm never really gonna push it that hard. But we have our speed again. Thankfully, I was starting to think something was seriously wrong with the engine, even after we fixed it. And I'm just so happy that it was just growth. I know growth would have affected speed, but I didn't think that growth could affect my RPM. But I guess it makes sense if the prop is out of balance and just like slugging along through the water because of all the growth on it. So yeah, we're good. Well, this is so nice. I don't know why we don't set this up more often, but we're not getting wet at all. It's kind of pleasant watching the rain and not getting wet for a change. And our engine is working so well. Well, we made it to Florida Beach. It's maybe not the nicest anchorage, but it's super well protected. And one really nice thing is that it's off to the side of the ICW, so you don't get all the swell and wake and all the boat traffic. And when the workers from that, I think it's a cement plant, go away, then it's super quiet. And you just hear tons of birds. And fish are just jumping all over the place. It's amazing how easy it is to start our engine now.
Oh, that's a spoon, a spatula. This is why we gotta sell. Exploring St. Augustine. Back in the cruising lifestyle.